Stop everything that you're doing right at this moment and focus on what drives you, and think of things that you would, like your wish list of things that you would love to do with no fear. Just focus on that. Focus on what you really want to do, and you'll see that whatever you're doing is definitely not what you should be doing right now.
Today's conversation is about starting over. Not in the cute, inspirational quote version, but the messy one. My guest today is Tammy Levent. She has faced armed robbery, major debt, a devastating accident involving her children, cancer, a violent divorce, near homelessness, and still went on to build a $100 million travel business and redefine success on her own terms. I've known Tammy for 17 years. What I've come to appreciate most is that she doesn't talk about resilience like it's some fluffy concept. She lives it, and she tells you it doesn't get easier, it gets clearer. Today, she's giving us the unscripted truth about how fear impacts the decisions we make, what it actually takes to start over, and why the old definition of success may no longer be serving you. If you're rebuilding, rethinking, or just feeling stuck, this one's for you. Let's get unscripted. Tammy, welcome to Work Unscripted.
Well, thank you for having me, Marlo. It's about time.
Yes, I know. I've known you forever. But there is one very specific reason why I wanted you on the show. So your life and getting to know you has included an armed robbery, a bankruptcy, family tragedy, cancer, divorce, and building a $100 million plus travel business. So you are
And
literally, what's that? And what?
I died 10 years ago. So I was...
And almost death, right? Exactly. And you are the epitome of resilience, the epitome. So take me back to the moment when everything in your life was falling apart around you, and how did you make decisions on what you were going to do next?
Well, the worst time in my life, was when my children were in a very bad car accident with their grandmother. I think that has to be... And you have two daughters, and I don't want to tell you what that would be like.
Yeah.
But my grandmother was driving, and the kids were in the car, 8 and 2. And my grandmother passed out at the wheel, and my daughter took control of the car. But Katie took control of the car. But you know how you squeeze the buttons on the console? She watched us do it day in, day out, but she didn't know she had to squeeze the buttons. And she's frantic trying to squeeze those buttons. And my baby's in the back, and she turned the steering wheel, hits a house. And her grandmother fell on top of her. Thank God, that's what saved them. And grandma died, and the kids were both in intensive care. My son's orbital eye was fractured. He couldn't see. My daughter's tongue was severed. She couldn't talk. And they were in the hospital. I was feeding my daughter with an eyedropper for months. And 6 months prior to that, I had an armed robbery in my jewelry store. And about 8 months before that, I was in a severe car accident where I needed neck surgery, and I had my own issues to deal with that were on the back burner. Because
it's like
Marlo,
one thing after another.
And it was one after another.
Yeah.
I'm in the hospital, and I love when the doctors say, listen, if you don't sleep, we're going to have to throw you out of the hospital because you have not slept. We're monitoring you along with the kids. I'm like... Right. Like, I'm going to sleep now. I'm thinking, how am I going to pay? I still have debt from the robbery. How am I going to pay for all this? How am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? And what's funny is so many things not like this happened in the past, but you overcome things. You break a nail. It's okay. You move on. Yeah. For some people, it's not, Marlo.
This is not breaking a nail, exactly.
Right. But you have to move on from that. But, in this situation, I was like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. Everything's on me. Everything is on me. So I didn't give up. I just gave up that night. And then a nurse came in and she goes, hey, you know what? If it had nothing to do with, don't worry. Everything works out. If it had nothing to do with money, without money, what would you do? And I thought about it, and I said, I would travel the world. And she goes, well, that's what you need to do. And she got me a newspaper, and I got a job, and I started working for somebody in the travel business. Hence, fast forward, here I am with a multi-million-dollar company. But that listening at the worst time of your life and not listening to everybody, I think made a difference. in my life and how I shifted, and I continue to do the same thing. I continue to go with my gut than anything else because that's what I've been doing all along, and it's been working magically.
Yeah, so many people, Tammy, though, they want to follow their dreams. They have a passion. They have something they want to do, but they're too scared. They're too scared or, oh my God, look at this big house. I've got this big mortgage. I've got bills to pay. I've got, this debt, that debt. I've got things going on. I can't do it. So what forced you in that moment to actually do it besides just listening to this woman who said, what would you do? Like what forced it?
I didn't have a choice. There was no choice, right? What am I going to do? I have no choice. I have no money. I'm at negative at this point, 180,000. I didn't have a choice. I had one choice, and that was either to continue the rate that I was going and lose my house, don't know what to do with the kids, had a funeral to deal with, all this stuff, or hey, you don't have a choice. Go for it. You don't know what's going to happen. I did the same thing moving here, which we're going to talk about later, but because that's one of the questions that you gave me. I'm going to talk about fear because I just want to jump into that. I have a whole thing about fear and what fear means to me. I have never been afraid of anything in my entire life, ever, because it's only money. You can make it back. If I didn't even have fear of cancer when I had it, of death when that came to me. To me, this is why people have fear. And it all starts with FEAR, so you could remember it. They have a fear of failure with the
Yep.
F. That's number one. If I fail, there is no such thing to failure to me ever in my life. Failure to me means, hey, you know what? We tried something, it didn't work out. All right, you tried. Let's move on to the next thing. There is no failure. You're right. If you never
It's
tried,
learning.
that would be a failure. You wanted to
Yeah.
do this all your life, Marlo, for as long as I know you. If you didn't do it, you would have
Right.
failed at it because you didn't do it, right?
Right. It's
So
learning
that's
and
the
it's
failure.
data. That's what it is. It's just data.
The other
Yeah.
thing is with the E to me is you lack the energy and the excitement in your life. You have no energy anymore. You lack no excitement. There's nothing that drives you. And if you're not driven for something, someone, but for yourself, number one, you're going to you're going to fail. And that's the fear that brings you that. The fear holds you back from doing
Yeah.
anything positive in your life, right? And then
Yep.
for A is that you forgot all your attributes. You forgot everything good about you because all you did was you sustained the stupid fear that you have, and you forgot that, hey, I'm a good writer. Hey, I'm good at speaking. Hey, I'm good at this. I'm good at this. I'm good at this. And you completely forgot everything else because the stupid 4-letter word that starts with F, and it's fear. And then
Yeah.
for R, you keep repeating the same shit over and
The
over
same
again.
cycle.
Okay.
Yep.
You
Over and
keep
over.
repeating it. You made
Yep.
a mistake, right? You move on and learn from that and do something different next time. Shift. Okay, you bought a multi-million-dollar house with all these beautiful furniture chains, and you have your Chanel bags and your YSL and your Christian Louboutin and all the parties that you do and everything that you do, and you spend all this money, and guess what? Now you don't have it, but you go do it again when you had a second time to do it again. Stop. Rewind and stop.
Yeah, start something over. And I think that's what's happening with a lot of people. People are losing their jobs, people are losing their homes. I don't care if you're in Hollywood right now and the whole market's crashing around, entertainment, or you're in tech. People are just scared, right? They're scared, they're fearful about starting over. And what I think they forget is that this is like a blessing in a way, because it's your pause. It's your
Right.
pause to think about your life and figure out what you want it to be. Because you mentioned earlier that you were $180,000 in debt when you started your travel business,
Right.
which blows my mind because most people would be so busy just trying to make that $180,000 back.
And I
But
didn't
you
have my
said, I'm going to
bankruptcy
pivot.
then. I didn't have my bankruptcy until 2008.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
funny. I still survived that, right? So,
Right.
but the shift, the thing I call it shifting. Shift
Yes.
everything that you're doing, even if it's a slap in the face and you're like, "Oh my God, what happened to me?" It doesn't matter. I moved here, and I'll let you ask
Where
the
is
question.
here? Here is Crete, correct?
Crete, Greece, yes.
Yeah.
And if I tell you how I did it, you're going to look at me like, "Woman, you are crazy." I went through the worst divorce of my life. I don't wish it on anyone. My husband tried to kill me on top of it. Okay. So I don't know where he is right now. It doesn't matter. I have a forever injunction. When the judge gave it to me, it's like, I have never given this to anyone. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Injunctions don't work anyway. We know that. But the point is that I didn't move here because of fear. I moved here because he destroyed everything in my home. He stole everything and I had nothing left. In the house was things that I needed that I took out before that, but I left because fearing my life, even though it was my home, right?
Yeah.
And here I am living in a shelter, Tammy Levent, living in
When
people's,
you're running a multi-million-dollar business, but you're living in a
yes,
shelter,
that's
okay?
right.
Because you're already running the business at this point.
Right.
Yes.
Laptop is all I need, right? And Marlo, if you were my neighbor, I'd say, Marlo, can I stay with you a couple of weeks? Because I don't want to extend that. And I'm not giving you all the information so you don't freak
Right.
out, right? So I'm only giving you so much. I did this for 5 months and I ended up with one suitcase from place to place. I went to a laundromat. I felt so bad for everyone in there that I paid for everyone to clean their laundry. I was
Wow.
psycho. There was a reason for this. It was a reason to bring me back down to reality. Where are you? This is how people really live. Where are you? Okay.
Yeah.
And I sat down one day and I did the calculations. Okay. I have this much money in the bank. I have this business coming in this way. What if all the businesses were to shut down today and there was nothing left? Nothing. Zero. Okay. Where would I be? Can I live on that in the US? Hell no. I couldn't live on that.
Right.
Guess what
Yeah.
today is? Today is my anniversary that I moved here.
Wow.
1 year ago. So
Yeah.
1 year ago, I did the math. I was already divorced at that point and everything, but I had nothing. I rent the house out and I rent the house out and I moved to Charlotte. My daughter and I lived together and I said, I don't like it here. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. This is not what I want. I have a
Yeah.
different vision for me. And when I did the math, I said, there's no way I'm not going to go bankrupt again. I'm not going to get into
Yeah.
that, and
Yep.
I'm going to move. And I made the best decision I ever made in my life. Best
Yeah,
decision.
and you look gloriously happy on social, I have to tell you. You're in Crete, Greece, which is incredible. And I see all the beautiful pictures of the beach. Tammy, when you get in those moments of, like you said, you had the armed robbery, you had the kids, you had all the stuff that happened, and then most recently the divorce and, this very dangerous person. What keeps you going in those moments?
Well, the one thing is when I wake up in the morning, this is my morning, every single morning. It doesn't matter where I am, what I'm doing. Every single morning, the first thing I say is thank you, God, for giving me another blessing today. That is the first thing that I say in the morning. I'm getting all teary up.
Yeah.
Because without being thankful for where I am, I cannot move forward to the next step of where I need to be. Okay. And I get emotional because you're the one that keeps bringing up everything I've been through. Um, I'm trying to
Sorry.
forget it all. But the thing is that we have to be grateful for what we have, very grateful for what we have. And we have to have a vision. We have to see things like where we want to be. You can't just say, okay, I'm Miss, Betty Homemaker here and I'm making my muffins for the kids and I take them to school and I come back and this. What do you want to do for yourself? What is your plan? Yours. Marlo, not for the kids, not for Brett, not for anyone, but for yourself.
Mhm.
When you wake up in the morning, that's what I do. I say, okay, today is another day. I've been given another chance to see what I want to do. And from that is how I invented something during COVID and when everybody was broke. That's a whole nother
Yeah.
story. It's on pause right now with
Yeah.
the way the world is, but it doesn't matter. I did something that nobody in the world did, and I got into Super Bowl with it, and I was able to sustain and live for 3 years over COVID with when I was in the travel business, the worst time of my life, right? To
Right.
be able to pivot, shift. So that word shift is a very important part of my life, but that's how it is for me in the morning. I focus on what I need to do and where I need to be. And I write, here, I'll show you real quick. This is my journal.
Uh-huh. Yep.
You see what it says?
I can't read it from here, but and
Oh,
she never gave up.
and
And
she
she
never
never
gave
gave
up.
up.
So this
Yeah.
is this is like my journal of writing every day
Yep.
of things that move me the things I want. It's in my manifestation book. It's my diary. It's whatever it is. But this is something that I do faithfully every single day to get me to where I need to be. And if something gets thrown my way, we'll deal with it, you know?
And you mentioned that the travel business crashed during COVID. I know that. And that was the thing that I found fascinating. Like you pivoted and people are like, all right, well, what'd you pivot to? Something travel? No, you pivoted to a food truck selling Greek donuts. That's what you pivoted to, which blew my mind. Like you were making Greek donuts and shipping these all over the world and you learned manufacturing and you learned, how to keep them frozen and how to do it. Like, I'm just like, oh my God, you've never been in manufacturing and food. And that's what I think is so interesting about you is that if you don't know it, you'll learn it. And you will take you will look at something and say, I'm interested in this. And that's where it starts, right? It starts with interest.
That's right.
And then you fly for that opportunity. There's no switch in you, is what I would like to say.
I don't believe in the word no.
How do you know when to take a big risk, a big swing like that?
Well, it was funny because to spend $55,000 during COVID when you have zero income coming in, I could not get the PPP for anyone because we work on commission only. Right. So I could not get anything, no SBA, no PPP when everyone's getting money. So here's my life savings. And I'm like, not my life savings, but a good chunk of it, right? You're okay, well, are we going to live? We need this much every month. And what's funny is I went out and got an equity loan before all this started. The minute I was in Chicago watching the news on CNN and I'm watching, and I told my son, I go, I'm going to leave now. He goes, you're over exaggerating. You're making this more than what it really is. I'm like, okay, I'm telling you, the airports are going to close tomorrow. I left the day after tomorrow when I told him, the day after when I was supposed to leave, they were shut down.
Of course.
So when things happen, this is what I do, just so you know. I see the shift in what's going to happen. I see the other shift now. I'm telling travel advisors all day, I see the shift. Right after COVID, I saw the shift. See, I make my plans and my decisions based on what's going on in the world around me. And that's how I make my move. So when I did this, I go, oh, well, here's the deal. No one can leave home. No one's going to be able to do this, right? So I'm going to get the food truck. I'm going to manufacture it. I'm going to get it into supermarkets if I can, which I did. I got into the Super Bowl, which I don't even know how that happened. Anyway, and that is how I sustained. And then after that, things opened up, things got a little different. Right now, we had a little problem with manufacturing. Obviously, it's too expensive and it's a donut. So it's on pause. I'm the only one in the world that invented it. It's trademarked. It's mine. It doesn't matter. I'll do whatever I want with it. But it helped me during that time.
Yeah.
And now after COVID.
Yeah. So after COVID, you were saying?
So after COVID, I told all my agents and with tasks, because I have a training school, right, to train travel agents, I told them, don't get so excited. The doors are going to open and everyone's going to start traveling. But the year after, it's going to slow down because the only people that are going to travel are people that have money or money that's saved. Your average person is not going to be able to spend money on travel. The average person that would normally go to Mexico, which is off the table now, or Caribbean or whatever it is, there's going to be a shift in the industry. You guys need to be prepared. Did anyone listen to me? No. Did I listen to me? Absolutely. While I was sitting home and you guys were all figuring out what you're going to do with your masks on, I invented the donut and I also rebranded and redid my entire website geared to luxury clients and luxury clients only. And what do you think I get now?
And now your business is flourishing. I mean, I have to say, and I'm going to throw it in here, you planned an incredible, and I mean beyond incredible, 6-week trip to Europe. When I went out on my own in my own executive coaching business, when I left corporate, I decided it was the first time in my entire career that I was not beholden to a 2-week vacation a year. And I decided that we were going to go to Europe for 6 weeks. And I gave you the budget, which was not huge, but I gave you the budget and we did a lot of it on points, which was great. But the point is you created experiences for us that to this day, I still talk about, whether it was falconry in Ireland or staying in a cave hotel in, where was that? Puglia.
Sure.
Or my favorite thing was riding the segways in Puglia and then eating lunch in an authentic Italian
Truly,
home in a Trulia, what were they called?
truly,
Trulies, I think.
truly.
Yeah.
That looks like a little teepee.
Oh my God. Like we went truffle hunting in
Florence.
Tuscany, and then we cooked with our truffles. Like it was out of control, and we could afford it all because, like I said, we did some of it on points, right? But it was absolutely like things we never would have found online. Not in a million years would
Well,
we have
the other
found
thing
any of
is
this
you had
stuff.
given me an itinerary, if you remember,
Yeah.
Marlo, and I said to you, I'm going to tweak this out a little bit.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's a little boring in some place. Can I just do whatever I want to do?
You pretty much did. Yeah. No, you're not going to this country. You're going to this country. But
And
it
then
turns
after a
out to
while,
be,
you were like,
yeah. And
whatever
now
you
you're
want to
planning
do.
our trip to Japan. We're going to Japan for just 2 weeks, but we are going, and you're planning that. And I know it'll be incredible and wonderful and amazing. But so you pivoted. Okay, so you pivoted to luxury, right? And when you think about like the smart decisions you made, like you pivoted to luxury here, and you think about where you're headed in the future. Is there a mistake that you made in the past that informs where you're going now, or is it just following your gut and trends?
I think it's more my gut. The only mistake, and I think you asked me that, like as an entrepreneur, what is the one mistake that I think that
Yeah.
I've ever made?
Yeah.
I think the mistake that I made is thinking that I need a team of 30 people when I first started. And I wasted a lot of money when I was making a lot of money. I was the one who founded Destination Weddings. People don't know that. I was the first one to do that. You were one of my first weddings, right? But I was doing big weddings, over 300 weddings a year. We were so big. We were on Isle Dash, AOL, every blog, everything you could imagine.
That's how I
And I
found
was
you.
hiring teams of people. And then I think about it and I go, why was I doing that? I should have hired more advisors than teams of people, right?
Yeah.
So that was one mistake. So a lot of money went out the window instead of saving a lot of that coming in. You know what I mean? And people that build businesses, they do that. They tend to be like overhire. I need this. Now what I do, and for the last, I'd say 15 years, what I do is what I need is what I hire. Oh, I need an editor. Okay, because I wrote the book. I need an editor for this. Okay, I need somebody to do all my social media. And you see me, I'm posted every day. Okay, I need somebody for that because that's not my forte. Your forte is doing this, right? It's not social media.
I
So
don't.
hired somebody for that.
I do write my social. Yeah, but I
Right,
don't.
you hire
I don't
people
do
to
the posting.
do. Right. You hire people to do what you can't do or takes away from what you need to do. Don't hire people that could do what you can do, or hire people that you can hire to make you money instead of costing you money. If I hired more advisors and said, hey, listen, while you're doing this, I'll give you 5% more if you do this, I would have been in a different situation. You know what I mean? Not now, but I'm saying back then. That's one thing that I would do differently. But pivoting, I don't see the trends. It's just like, to me, I look at it, to me, it's common sense, but a lot of people don't look at it that way. I knew this was going to happen. I knew it. That's why I left when I did. Having a mortgage, having expenses, I needed, okay, and I'm being really open and honest here, $10,000 a month to break even in the US.
Wow.
$10,000 a month to break even with all my expenses, okay? I need $1,500 a month here to break even with all my expenses.
Wow.
Hello.
That's huge.
And I'm living the life and I don't have to worry about anything. Except I talk to goats every day. But what I'm saying is, and it's a flight away, 6 hours. I miss my kids, okay, but we see each other, FaceTime each other every day. But at the end of the day, for me, I see a shift that the travel industry is shifting. Travel advisors need advice and they need help. So they're not going to come to me anymore. Those days are over. Everybody's what we're doing, So then I decided now and created something new again, which has.
Is there something else on the horizon that we should look out for?
Oh, I'm doing it now that no one in the world has done. I love that no one in the world has done. No one in the world has created a global virtual live training. I come to the agents every week live, like we are now live every single week, and every other week live Q&A. Nobody has that. And I'm only charging $500.
Wow. That's amazing.
It's global.
So now you have a training business on top of your current luxury business that you're doing. So when you made these decisions, so you decided to move overseas. I know a number of people. I just saw a report today how many people are moving. It's the first time ever more people have left the US than have come into the US this year. So if someone is starting over, you started over so many times. And if they're starting over at this point, which I feel like is what's happening out there, right? In some way, people are starting over in life, right? Whether they're going into an entrepreneurial venture, career, business, life, something they're starting over in. What are the first three moves that they should make when they're
Okay.
thinking about whatever it is that they need to do next?
I'm so glad you brought this up. My son and I had a conversation. He was living in New York, and he's making a lot of money, and he's having a rough time. And I said, Jordan, you need to move. That's what you need to do. You need to move because where you're at, it's compounded in New York. You're not going to be able to sustain and be here. You still have your girlfriend, you still have your work. It's all, virtual. There's nothing that holds you back. Even if it wasn't, you have to talk to somebody and see how you can relocate, how you can move. You have to cut these expenses. It's going to get worse. It's not going to get any better. And sure, he did a year ago, like I did. 1 year ago, he moved to Phoenix. So he's your
Yeah.
neighbor
I know he's down the block, which is hysterical. And it's interesting because that is the number one move, is making a move. And I think the big thing you said there was cutting your expenses. And that goes back to stop spending on stupid stuff, right? And that's why we moved. Quite frankly, that's why we moved. We moved to Arizona from the Bay Area, which was ridiculous. I mean, my property taxes alone were $27,000. Ridiculous. And we moved here, and that allowed us to live a more gloriously beautiful life, because now I'm not worried about, can I afford to buy this food, or can my kids, how am I going to afford to do this after school activity, whatever it is, I'm comfortable,
and
very
you're safe.
comfortable.
And you're
Yeah.
safe. And you're
And I'm
safe.
safe. Yeah.
That's number
Yeah.
1. He lives down the street from you. I can't remember the name of the street.
So that's the number one thing, is to move. What would you say the other two things are?
And I think the other thing is to focus and maybe shift to something else. Doesn't mean that you're
Yeah.
locked in to do what you were doing. You were doing
Yep.
something totally different than what you're doing now. And you shifted to something that you're passionate about.
Mm-hmm.
I never thought that I would have a travel school that I started 11 years ago. I never thought that I would build something like that to where it is today, which I am doing. Never thought I would invent a stupid donut, but there was a need. Everyone wanted comfort food during
Right.
COVID. It was perfect.
Yeah.
It was perfect. So look at what maybe is needed. I'm not saying invent something, but see where
Right.
you can shift something and sit down with your family and make that decision of what you could do. I have mine virtually. I got out of my office that I had a, $5,000 month rent, said, I don't need this. I noticed that, hey, I could rent my house and get more money and live less where I'm at. So I'm going to rent my house out. I'm not saying sell your house. Maybe you could rent it out, right? Maybe
Mm-hmm.
you'll pay. With you, the taxes were crazy.
Yeah.
Rent the house out. And that's what I've been doing for 3 years. And I'm able to afford to where I live. So you have to shift your mind that maybe what you're doing now is really not what you should be doing. You know,
Yeah.
um, Jordan was in all these different types of businesses, and now the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. I'm talking about my son, but he is consulting and training a team of 7,000 employees in a solar company. And he started with
Wow.
door-to-door sales and solar. So you don't
There you go.
know. But
Yeah.
then that goes back to fear and what are your attributes? Write
Yeah.
that down. Maybe you and Brett could sit. I mean, you guys are fine, but I'm saying somebody like a couple, like you and Brett, sit down and say, "Hey, why don't you write a list of all the good things that I have? Don't write anything negative, everything positive about
Yeah.
me, and do the same." And then maybe from that, something will spark.
So it sounds like that's the third thing, is figure out where you're grateful and what you're really good at, and then shift
Yep.
from there.
And
So,
what your passion is. It's, okay, your passion is traveling. I mean, Tammy, but I didn't think that I was going to really do this, to be honest with you.
and you do travel the world. I know. I always see you in a different country every other minute. So now the one thing that I'm really interested in is the word success, because I think as you get older, at least for me, success means something totally different than it did when I was younger, right? Success used to mean money and being able to do things and this, that, and the other, saving, whatever. Success for me is something totally different now. It means impact. It means peace. I would say it mostly means peace and calm. And if my life is peaceful and calm every day, then I had a great, successful day. How about
Yep.
you? How has success changed in your definition over the years?
Well, calm is definite for me, but success to me is that I could look, when you started our conversation, you were like, you've been through this, through this, through this, through this, through this. I
Yeah.
think success to me, when I've accomplished something or I've achieved something or I've overcome something. So there's three different
Mm.
things there, right? Achieved,
Yeah.
overcome, I've accomplished something. That to me is success. So if today's goal was, you know, um, I'm writing another book right now. So if
Wow.
today was writing another few pages in my book, that's success to me. So I don't have success goals as long term anymore, like I used to. Like, oh, in 10 years I want to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting old, Marlo. So we
Yeah.
don't. So
Don't tell anyone.
my goals have been shortening. They're day to day now. So day to day. But so that's success. It's a successful day. I did exactly what it was to do. I was accomplished and I did that's to me is success. It's not the money and that anymore. It's to have a peaceful life, like you said.
Yeah.
And my goals are now not long term anymore like they used to be. My goals are I wake up in the morning, that's my goal. Okay, I did it. Hey, I had a successful day.
That's good. That's awesome. It means that every day is a successful day for sure. What do you do, Tammy, when you've had a lot happen to you for sure? And what do you do to anchor yourself every day, especially when life is uncertain? I mean, we have wars all over the place now. We have, people losing their jobs, people struggling to make ends meet. What is the thing that anchors you the most every day?
I feel blessed to where I'm at because I put myself here. So what anchors me, right, to where I'm at right now, like I said, it's a day-to-day basis. And I see the news. And our ship that left here and went to around came from here. I could see it
Yeah.
right here where the port is. So for me, I cannot worry about what tomorrow is going to be. I cannot do that. What brings me back to where I'm at is the decisions that I've made, I'm happy with. I'm happy with every decision that I'm making right now in present time in my life. And I think that's what people need to do. It's stop worrying about, oh my God, what am I going to do tomorrow? Okay, so you don't have a job shift. Maybe it's the wrong place. We talked about that. What is it that your anchor? There's something that's holding you here, that's making you happy and successful. And that's what I think about every day. It's what I've accomplished today. And that's what keeps me in a positive focus to move for tomorrow. And tomorrow, I'm not going to worry about a month from now. People are calling me and what if it goes to Greece and I'm leaving in 6 months? Can we worry about that in 5.5 months from now? You know what I mean? And I think that is what is keeping me grounded. Um, it's
So you
not
think about today. You think about
today,
today, the gratefulness today, the things you need to accomplish today, and stop creating the anxiety over the future necessarily.
but I used to do that. It,
Yeah,
it,
I
it's
did
it's
too when I was
it's
younger. Absolutely.
but it's not
Yeah.
even I think that a lot of people can make that shift even if they are younger. It's just that we live in a I want how can I say it? They want things and they're looking at their future. Oh, I'm gonna have that $20 million house. And they're focusing on that, then well, you gotta work today to get that, right? It's a good goal to have. I'm not saying don't goal and reach goals, but can you just be realistic for what you want today? Oh, you need a job. That would be a great
Right.
start for today.
Yeah, I think want is actually the root of most evil, to be honest with you. Like, I think you have to accept what is. I call it like what is and what is now, right? Like,
Right.
what is today. And, I don't want for things. I like experiences with my kids, hence the traveling and having you plan our travel, because I like experiences. So if something's an experience, then I'm all for it. But I don't want for the purse or the shoes or the whatever. And there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing to anybody who's listening. What I'm saying is, does that really make you happy? Maybe for the fleeting moment, but does it make you fulfilled? And I can tell you, I am gloriously fulfilled every single day because I'm living my values every single day, right?
That's funny that you
Versus,
say that about the things because because don't forget, he took just about everything out of the house, but that wasn't even the moment. The moment was when I was packing my things. I came to Greece in 12 suitcases. 3 of them were winter clothes. Okay, so
Mhm.
let's not count those because winter takes a
Right.
bulk, right? So
Yep.
I came with 9 suitcases, my entire life in 9 suitcases. So
Wow.
when I'm looking at my silverware, this is funny. It was a gift I was with the kid's dad when I was married, and it's sterling silver. And I said to Katie, I said, I'm giving you this to you now. When I die, you're going to get it. So you might as well want it now. Do you want it now? Because if not, I'm going to sell it. So
Yeah.
my shoes, my Gucci's, my Louis Vuittons, everything. I sold everything. I sold
Yeah.
everything because first of all, she can't fit into my shoes. But second of all, it's like, I don't need this where I'm going. And I got rid of everything. And boy, it's less and less. And I got orchids instead now. See, that's what happens.
And you're thrilled with the orchids. All right, let me take 2 minutes to rapid fire you. You ready?
Yeah.
One belief you had to unlearn to succeed.
What people think.
Ooh, good one. Best risk you ever took?
Moving to Greece.
Worst advice entrepreneurs get?
That you need money to succeed.
Ooh, that's really powerful. I wish I could dig into all of these. What moment most defined your resilience?
At my early teens when I left home at 16 and moved to New York by myself.
Okay. And a moment that made you think I actually did it.
When I did.
I love it. If someone's feeling stuck today, or if they're in a life that doesn't excite them, or they're going through a painful period, what would you tell them right now?
I would say stop everything that you're doing right at this moment, besides listening to me and you. Just stop everything that you're doing and focus on what drives you and think of things that you would like your wish list of things that you would love to do and with no fear. Just focus on that. Focus on what you really want to do, and you'll see that whatever you're doing is definitely not what you should be doing right now.
Tammy, thank you so much for being here. Amazing conversation as always. And I can't wait to go on our trip. It's coming in a few months. So
Thank
thank you
you.
for being here. Where can somebody find you if they're looking for either a travel agent or if they want to just learn more about your business?
Oh, well, I'm all over Instagram and Facebook. So Tammy Levent is a trademark name. Okay,
Uh-huh.
so you could definitely look up that. But we have Elite Travel Management Group, which is on Facebook. And I don't know if you give them my email. I don't know, but
That's
anyone
up
can
to you if you
email.
want to.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's tammylevent@gmail.com. Anyone can email me. I'm always accessible. And elitetravelgroup.net is the travel agency, and you'll have an experience of a lifetime. Ask Marlo, and you'll never get stranded. You can always call me, and I'm always there for
Yep.
you. And tammylevent.com is my personal site. There's so many. And if you're thinking about becoming a travel agent, don't. But if you do decide, go ahead and reach out to me too.
That's awesome. And Tammy, you have a book out as well. It's called Sink or Swim, right?
Sink or swim. It is my first half of my life. I have to
Okay.
write the next one. But right now I'm writing another book, which is I Do with the Prenup. Because yes, I do with a prenup. And I'm going to give it to the girls when they get older and get ready to get married. Marla, that is my gift to your girls. I'm going to give them this $5,000
Yeah.
prenup.
Nice. As you're planning people's weddings, that's their wedding gift. There
That's
you
their
go.
wedding gift. Even the
Well,
judge said this is an ironclad prenup.
Tammy, thank you so, so much. It's been amazing having you here. And, I can actually call you my friends because I've now known you for 17 years, a little over 17 years. I've been
Wow.
married for 17 years, and you did my destination wedding, which turned out to be a little less destination because my dad didn't want to travel overseas, but it wound up being Amelia Island, Florida. It was still destination to
It
us,
was beautiful. We had
but it
so
was
much
beautiful
fun.
and wonderful on the beach, and everything went off without a hitch. So thank you so much for everything, and thank you for chatting. Reinvention is terrifying. Starting over is terrifying, but neither is the end. And sometimes it's the first honest decision you've made in a long time. So many people stay stuck because they're afraid to lose what they've built: the house, the title, the lifestyle, the version of success everyone else can see. But staying in a life that no longer fits has a cost too. It just changes, and slowly you don't notice until you're years deep. If you're in one of those moments right now, I want you to sit with 3 questions. What am I actually afraid of? What do I already know how to do? And what is the one decision I can make today that moves me toward the life I actually want? If this episode resonated, share it with someone who needs permission to begin again. And as always, stay curious, stay growing, and stay unscripted. The journey is yours. Work Unscripted is produced and edited in partnership with the team at Palm Tree Podco and 21 Digby. The content for this week's episode was created by me, Marlo Lyons.